the short block, make it ready for the heads. We got the water pump, we got oil pump, we got seals, the IMS bearings. Keep watching. Now it's time for the infamous IMS bearing, intermediate shaft bearing. I pulled off the factory one. It looks good, but while it's out, I'm just gonna install a new one. So this came with a dual row, so we're gonna be installing it. The Pelican IMS bearing retrofit kit, and I already started by installing just the bearing. I put the bearing in and just tapped it into place, into its location. So that's the first step. The second step is to find the spacer and the locking clip. So we are just going to place this in here. I have to push it all the way through. Till the groove shows. Right here we have the little groove for it's flush, and this clip can go in. Now we're gonna just work our way around it. It's like a spring material, but just work our way around the whole thing. And you should hear a little click once it's fully in. Like that. There you go. Next is the spacer. There's a middle spacer. Right here we have the spacer that goes over here, because we put a single row into a dual row. So this is part of the kit that we need to install. This is gonna go like this. But first, I'm just gonna lube everything up. So when we start it up, we don't have to worry about if it has oil pressure or not. Everything will be lubed and will be safe to start. We're gonna put the O-ring over here. And normally, you need to put the align. You know what? We'll put the alignment tools anyway. Alright, right here we're going to put, there's these studs that you put in that it lines up the cover so it doesn't go in at an angle and won't pinch the O-ring, so it seals properly. So you just thread them in a little bit. Right now I don't need to use this because there's no pressure on the chain, but I'm showing you guys if you're ever doing this while it's inside the car and the engine is assembled, that this is the procedure you would use. So it's more so for And now you would take one by one, you would take out the studs and put in a bolt. You thread them all in by hand or the gun lightly, and then you torque them. Over here, I like to lube up the O-ring. The O-ring goes in first. And then there's a washer that's concaved on the inside. You push that towards the O-ring, and then you put the nut on it. Over here I'm installing new O-rings on the oil pickups and for the surge tank for the oil pan. So this engine has a dry sump setup. So I just changed all the O-rings, put all the parts back. This is pretty straightforward. And when you put in new O-rings, always remember to put some grease or oil or just lube them up. When you put them in place, they don't get pinched that way. And it would be a shame to go through all that work. And actually, in this area of the engine, if they do leak, there's a slight possibility you'll have low oil pressure, and that can destroy your engine. So just keep that in mind. The oil pan does get some silicone around it. Clean both ends with brake cleaner and a rag so the silicone will stick. Put a nice bead around it and close it back up. Over here we're getting ready to start installing the guides for the timing chains, and the guides have bolts that hold them in place with Allen key heads, and those get new oil O-rings too, so don't forget to grease them. And you put them in one by one, and to see where they go, you guys can make it out from these pictures, or you can from the video, or you can try to Google some pictures of them in, because you have 4 of them and they all go in a certain position. They're not all the same, and there is a left and a right. I like to use a rubber band or zip tie and just connect them together. This way, when I'm installing the head, it's one less thing to futz around with. So I can have just an easier job doing it. Over here, I'm getting ready to put the front main seal, front crank seal, and I like to grease. I put a assembly lube on the inside of the here. I like to lube up the inside of the main seal, and then I use a flat piece of metal, just push it in all the way around, and then I use a big socket to just push it a little further in so it doesn't grab the pulley or anything like that. Right now we are installing the new water pump and new gaskets. Everything in the front of the motor is pretty much straightforward. There's this Allen key type of shaft that goes in the front that drives the oil pump. So don't forget to put that also inside. It goes into the front of the in front of the intermediate shaft. Over here, I'm getting ready to put the new thermostat housing on. The thermostats come with the housing on these motors. So also a good tip for when buying these cars, you could look underneath the car and see if the housing is new to know if it was done recently.